Snip that off. And there we go. There is your pheasant tail dry fly. Any questions?
You started from the stem end of the hackle.
Started from the tie in the stem because you want the longest parts of that hackle, so you get a nice fluffy. Now they also suggest that if you have some hackles that aren't really that great, you can actually put two together, sandwich them together, tie them in together, and that way you get fibers that go both directions. But if you have a really nice hackle, which I did, you'll get a nice fluffy fly like that.
Yes. Very nice. Very doable.
It's a really, I mean, look, a lot of these dry flies are really simple flies. They're a relatively small body on them, and then they have a palmered hackle on the front, and that's really what makes them float on top of the water.
Speaking of grizzly hackle, there's an old grizzly guy right there.
I think there's quite a few on this Zoom thing.
What's up, Mike?
It took me 20 minutes to get onto this site for some reason. Oh, well.
Well, you know, I could always tie another one.
That's okay.
If you really want to see it, Mike.
No, it's okay.
I was going to say maybe it would be a good idea for those of us who are actually tying. I am not tying, but Sydney, if you don't mind, would you do it again? And then anybody who might have missed it or missed a step would be able to catch up.
Sure, let me track down a hook.
I like that background, Mike.
My favorite winter fishing hole.
That is very nice. Is that you in the kayak?
Yeah. It's at sunrise at the TPH.
Very good. Very nice.
All right. Where'd my hook go? All right. So once again, number 12 dry fly hook. Yeah, normally we would not be going this fast because, yeah, you guys would have a lot more questions.
Absolutely.
Well, and the other thing is it's actually pretty hard to see what, you know, so when we're in person, it's much easier to tell how you guys are doing too. So it's really hard for me to tell, you know, if you guys were tying, it would be relatively difficult for me to tell what you guys are doing. Let's see. So once again, we're going to take about 10 to 15 grizzly hackle fibers. Oops, of course I forgot to put the thread on. Let's go ahead and put thread on our hook. You're going to tie in the tail right above the barb, right where that hook starts to bend.
This is a site where Kevin came up behind me after I was playing a fish for like 30 minutes. I didn't even know he was there. And it was a 6-foot alligator gar. And I just got him up next to the kayak, measured where his nose was and his tail was. And as soon as I popped the tippet to let him go, because I didn't want to retrieve the fly, those teeth, Kevin says, Mike, I just got a Christmas present, a new GoPro camera. I can get some really good pictures. I said, well, sorry about that.
So what kind of fly did you catch him on?
A black and let's see, black, purple, and chartreuse Clouser minnow. It was about 4 inches long.
Really?
Down the bottom, about 20, 30 feet deep. And he just picked it up and he just went. And I didn't know what it was until he got up. I got him up to the surface about 20 minutes later. And I saw those funny fins on his back. I said, oh no. But anyway, I got him up to the kayak and I measured his nose and his tail. It was 6 feet long. So lots of teeth.
So then we're going to take a piece of wire and we're going to tie that in to be used as a rib. And so you're just going to tie that back to where the tail is and then leave that for a second while we put the body on. So the body.
Cindy, what kind of thread are you using?
I'm sorry?
What kind of thread? 70 denier, 110, 210, or do you? Because it looks like you probably need a really thin.
You do. This is not. I want to say this is like a 6.0, a 6/0, if I'm not mistaken. But because I want to say I was having problems, I was just breaking the 8/0. Is that right? The smaller is the bigger number.
Yeah, right.
Right. Just like.
So then you. So now we're going to take some pheasant, about 4 or 5 pheasant tail fibers, and we're going to tie those in. And you can, if you pull them all off at a tail at the same time, it's really easy to keep them together because there actually be a little bit of membrane that holds them together. If they come apart, you can actually kind of trim the tips a little bit because you're tying them in by the tip. Then you can bring your thread up to the front, and I just half hitch it just to keep it from going anywhere. Take it and put it aside. Then you're going to take those pheasant tail fibers and wrap them. And one thing you can do is you can kind of twist them a little bit, and that kind of keeps them together a little bit better. And then you're going to wrap them with nearly overwrapping wraps. Where's my hackle pliers go? Hackle pliers really do help with these, especially if you're not used to doing it. Also tying a lot more fibers on, because that way if you lose a couple, it's not a huge deal. And you're going to tie up to the front, and there's going to be about 1/3 to 1/4 space left in the front, so you can tie on that front. You can palmer that front hackle. Right. And these little metal hemostat things work really well as, I don't know if you saw, see if I can get them in there. Work really well as a hackle plier.
Oh, yeah. Looks good.
Now you're going to take that rib that you put in and you're going to wrap that in the opposite direction that you wrapped the pheasant tail. And that'll make your fly last a little bit longer. And it'll put a little bit of shine on it. So you want to try to get those wraps relatively even. I don't know if the fish cares, but if you turn these in to be judged, they will care.
Judged by the fish?
No, Judge, this is one of the flies that's part of the awards program for IFFF.
Oh,
So there's the bronze level, and there's 5 flies I think you have to tie, or actually I'm not positive off the top of my head now, because I think that you tie your 5 flies, and then I think you may be given a choice of a fly. Let's see. Let's see. Doesn't say off the top. Let's see.
I got the impression that if you're having it graded, that you need to send in more than 1 fly so that they can compare.
It'll be 3 flies of each.
Okay.
Let's see.
Then they check for continuity.
Right, and they also make sure that you are, meeting all the standards of the flies. Like I was saying, there's an evaluation form that you can download, and it kind of gives you it lets you know what they're grading you on.
Very good.
Okay, so you have to give 3 examples of each of the 5, and then 3 examples of 3 patterns of your choice. So 8 different flies, 3 of each. Now, we got that rib tied in. I'm gonna go ahead and peel off a couple of fibers here so I can get this stem, be easier to tie the hackle in. We tie the hackle in by the stem, right there at the front. And then you're gonna palmer that hackle on top of itself to give you a nice bit of fuzz that you can then take that off. Pull all your fibers back. Put a bit of a head on there. And then let's go back to the whip finisher. All right. Oh, wait, what happened? Lost part of my. There we go. All right. There we go. Pheasant tail dry fly. All right.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know if these would be up to snuff for the evaluators, but fish will probably eat them.
fish probably have different requirements.
Right.
I've never caught an evaluator on a fly rod.
Well, that's right, because they don't bite the fly.
That's right.
I tell my students, about competition with my job with band, because everybody wants to go to this competition, that, and we go to some. We haven't been able to go during COVID. And so I've been telling people, I said, the greatest musicians in the world never had to get a Superior Festival to prove they were great. Mozart, Beethoven, Duke Ellington, Count Basie never had to go to Jazz Festival to prove they were the best. So I think the fish on them was a really care, and that's all I need to know.
Absolutely.
Hey, Sidney,
Yeah.
this is a dry fly, but I notice
Correct.
you've got that metal ribbon around it. What makes it float?
This hackle on the front, and you can also put some floatant on this, and that'll help it float as well. But it's this palmered hackle on the front that really makes it sit right on top of it. It sits in the surface tension,
Okay,
Awesome.
and it's a very light wire. It's a very small wire, so it's not very weighty, and it's a small wire hook rather than a heavier hook.
is that like a midge wire?
No, it's just a dry fly. It's just a dry fly hook. It's a number 12.
No, I mean the wire that you use.
I'm not sure what the gauge is on it. It's a very thin copper wire. I think technically you're supposed to use silver wire for this particular fly, but sometimes you have to work with what you have.
Okay.
Normally.
How about that, Mike? Good one. Sydney, I think you did terrific.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is business, but I'm looking ahead to next month. Can we plan on doing this again next month?
We can, and let's see. I have the picture of the fly right here somewhere. Hold on. It would be the orange partridge soft hackle would be the next fly in the series. And it is also in the bronze award handbook. And there are also videos of that. And I will prepare materials ahead of time. And maybe we can
Mail them out?
well, I don't know about all that. I don't know if we went to mailing out, but
But if we have it, and then I will take care of the mailing if I have
Yeah.
everybody's address.
we may be able to arrange something along those lines. Or like I said, even if I got them out and available a little bit earlier, I had the materials already ready. I just didn't think about it until last minute, but I could have had them on my porch much earlier.
Right, okay.
Is there a
Catch.
central area? Oh, Joe, Sydney, is there a central area where a central place, a local business that y'all can drop them off at?
I guess we could do something like that. We might be able to do it at Orvis or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not Orvis.
No, I wouldn't think so.
We'd have to see about that.
We're using a local coffee shop,
Right.
and they love it because we come in there, we buy cupcakes and cookies and drinks.
Right. I'll have to look into that. We'll have to see.
CC's,
I'll stick them down at the radio bar and y'all go pick them up.
And several of you all do lunch on Fridays, maybe at George's or one of the other place y'all have lunch too. That might be a
Right.
There were 4 of us this Friday.
You brave COVID people.
You bet.
Look, bro, my son and his wife got it, and it's not fun.
I know.
They're 30, they're half our age.
I
They're
lost a
fine
brother 2 weeks ago.
What's that?
I lost a brother 2 weeks ago to it.
I'm sorry.
So,
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry. Yes, that's incredible.
And with that
Ted,
pheasant tail, I use a pheasant tail nymph at the Perkins Park. And
Okay.
I've caught so many trout on that thing.
This
It's
year?
so easy to tie.
This year you caught a trout?
Not this year, but
Okay.
previous years. I'm about ready to go over there.
So how are you fishing those flies?
Just cast it out, and it's kind of semi-submerged. You know, it's on the surface. Just twitch it a little bit, twitch it a little bit, and all of a sudden, boop! You got
Okay.
him. Then everybody said, "Hey, mister, can I have your fish?" I said, "No, you got to catch your own."
Good for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just hadn't caught a whole lot of fish, not using a strike indicator, so.
Oh yeah. No, I don't use that except I'm going down the bottom, like a serendipity on the bottom.
Hey, Sydney, next month it's going to be the orange and partridge.
Yeah,
Partridge and orange.
orange partridge soft tackle. That's correct.
Got a little story to tell you about that.
All right.
Back when I first was getting into fly fishing in the mid 80s, I inherited some fly tackle and flies from my maternal grandfather. And he had a whole box of soft flies. And so rather than using those rubber crickets and stuff like that that Carter used to sell, I took those soft flies and I'd go out to Falls River and I'd throw those soft flies under those docks and around those docks out there. And that thing would just fall slowly in the water and you just see the line go zip out like that as those things would come up, those big brim would come up and eat those soft flies.
Wow.
Really?
So those soft flies are always good patterns for
I just-
spawning a brim under docks.
Yeah, I want to say that there's an article on what is it, flies for panfish or panfish flies that talks about using a soft tackle, fishing deep, possibly even with a sinking line, and doing a hand twist retrieve and catching panfish on a soft tackle fly.
Yeah, that hand twist retrieve is a really nice, just twitch it like that. Yeah, works great.
Gary, I see you're tying. How's it going?
I'm working on my second one. The first one was not pretty.
Well, like I said,
I mean, dry flies are tough. I tied them years ago and gave up on it a long time ago.
well, like I said, wrapping those pheasant tails around there is tough.
I don't know where my camera is there.
Got it, Gary? Let me,
There you go.
Yeah.
It looks like a fish would eat that.
Well, a brim would anyway. I don't know about a trout.
Well,
The key is whether it'll float or not. The
hey,
hackle's
Gary,
been,
show it again. Show it again.
I'm trying to find the camera. There it is.
Yeah,
Looks good,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Good.
very good.
That's a size 12 too. Unfortunately, where I fish for trout, often I'm using 16s and smaller. And
Right.
I, a long time ago, decided my fingers are too fat to tie anything that small. So,
Yep.
Yeah, you need good hackle pliers.
I let the Sri Lanka people tie those for me.
Right. I agree.
Sri Lanka do a real good job of them. Yeah.
Though I do admit, though, those little flies, you're paying a premium price for them. And man, I had gone to the Smokies and I threw, cast a fly into the water and I see it go down under this log and it doesn't come back up. Or I went in the stream and got it.
A lot of them end up in the trees behind you too.
Right.
In
Yeah.
a small stream. But I buy mine by the dozen at Sierra Trading Post. That's the cheap way to do it.
Right.
It's about $1 a piece that way instead of $3 a piece or something.
Well, I was trying to put my money into the local.
Well,
the
I do
local,
that too.
the
I do
local
that
shop.
when I go somewhere, I always stop in and get information and buy a few flies. But
Right.
if it's something like that, I know I'm going to be using.
Is this
Well,
something, is this something that Cole would use if he's going up to Arkansas or whatever on the White River? And the reason I ask, Cole, I think, is starting to put together a cold water trip. And sounds like some of you are cold water fishermen, so.
Fortunately, they don't seem to hit dries that often up in the White River. But
The problem is that we're all too old to have kids that qualify for the
yeah,
honey hole.
right. Dry Run Creek.
Yep.
What are you
Cole
talking
has,
about? I got a whole passel of nieces and nephews.
Oh, take them up there.
Cole has shared that he went last spring and really enjoyed his trip, took a couple friends with him. And I'm thinking he's wanting to do that again this year,
Oh,
and will
good.
share the information with us.
Was it last spring or the spring before?
It was last spring. He went in May last year. And
But he went the spring before as well.
I don't know about the spring before.
Well, I'm only saying it was this, or maybe, because I want to say it was the same weekend as our trip.
That was this past year.
Oh,
in
was it?
2020, yes. But so my point simply is Cole is working on another trip, and I'm sure that information will be available. I think they used guides, but they caught some nice trout.
Did they keep them?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
I'm not a fan of that harassing fish and then just,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah. I believe, look, if you're going to harass a fish, you just soon eat it. If you're going to make it expend all that energy, you can't just let it go.
Okay.
Interesting.
I've caught over 2,000 rainbows and I've kept 5.
Oh my.
Oh, you heathen.
Yeah.
I know my
Yeah.
wife moved from Louisiana to Washington State, and she wanted to try trout almondine with rainbow trout, and it did not work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Too many
wow.
bones.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I've never kept another one.
So what do they make trout almondine with?
Speckled trout.
Speckled trout. I've done it too. Up in Arkansas, I tried to do that trout almondine one time, and you just can't get all the bones out of. You better to cook them whole and just peel the bones. The backbone out of the fish.
Right.
That's the only way to eat a trout, I think.
Oh, you go fishing with catch up there at Little Mo. Bring your fry pan with you and a little oil and whatnot, and you cook it right. Build a fire on the bank of the river and have trout, and everybody's coming to help themselves. Remember that catch?
Yeah, and Jeff Gehring had a fit.
Yeah.
Catch, are we going to be able to meet as officers next Monday?
Where?
Yeah, it's clear.
On the 1st, that would be on the 1st by Zoom.
7 p.m.
Oh,
7
by
p.m.,
Zoom.
right?
7 p.m., correct.
I'll be here.
Okay.
And then we'll set up our regular meeting for the 8th on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Library.
And the fly time on the 22nd?
22nd, correct.
Is that the Monday after Mardi Gras? Think.
Oh,
Or the Monday before?
wait a minute. When is
I think Mardi
Gras?
Gras is 16th, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think we're good on that.
All right.
Not that there's a whole lot of Mardi Gras going on this year anyway.
Oh, I know. I mean, we get a week off. I'm going. Well, I'm gonna have a brand new grandbaby by then, by the end of this week, actually. So that'll be my. I'll have to try to get some fishing in between there somehow. Well, guys, look, the bass and the sockeye and the brim are about to start bedding up. I know you're tying cold water stuff. I'm just curious if we got any plans for any warm water ties, since that season's coming up soon, and maybe before, I don't know, maybe we can do some saltwater ties before May. I don't know. I'm not in charge, so I don't know. I'm just throwing the question out there.
I'm up for whatever. The biggest reason that I'd gone with these particular flies was that all the materials were there. You know, the videos, the instructions. That was the biggest reason and I didn't have anybody showing up for these things. So I wasn't going to put a whole lot of effort into doing something that, you know.
Oh, sure, man.
I got nobody showing up for. So there's a couple of little flies. There's trying to remember what there's a little foam fly that I tie. And actually, we need to get Randy to tie his.
No,
not the jitterbee. He has a new fly. What's your new fly called, Randy?
Well, it's like a jitterbee. I call it a jiggy bee because it's more jig-like. There was enough differences, different hook, foam flotation, different bead. Still has the forked tail, but doesn't have it's got a little bit more frizz in it than the body than just plain old chenille. So it orients. If you tie the right amount of foam butt to it, it floats like a jig.
So we need to get Randy to tie in March.
That'd be good.
I could do that. I need to field test this old laptop I got to see if it makes if it does a picture as good as the one you had, Sydney. Yours does pretty good.
Well, your phone could always do that too.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna send something out to y'all, showing y'all alternative ways of doing this. The phone,
that'd be
for
great.
example, is one, but also I don't know if you can see my camera right here. I have my camera on a tripod, and I've got a little thing called video capture card. And it goes right to my PC. I think it's like $20, $30 on Amazon. Works like a charm. I mean, you got high resolution. I can focus right on the fly. Works great.
Yeah, I was fiddling around earlier, but I couldn't really figure out how to get it to do what I needed to do at the time.
What was $30 on Amazon? The camera?
No, the video capture
I was
card.
about to say, damn, sign me up.
It's this thing called, I don't know if you can see it now.
I see that. Yeah.
I see your picture.
Wait, hold on. Let me unpin.
Yeah, you got to lock yourself in, Catch.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, you see that right there? It's called the video capture card. And I had connected earlier, but I was having a little problem with my PC. It was running out of fuel. But anyway, it is super sharp. Really comes out great. Video, even better than my camera. And my camera's a Samsung Galaxy A50 which has phenomenal video. But this thing right here, and this is like a $20 card. I've got HDMI cable and all this. And then this little thing is a microphone, remote mic that I can use. I didn't have to use it tonight, but I just set it up to show you. And then there's my camera right there. And just about any camera will work.
Well, also, if you have a newer Canon SLR or I'm trying to think, Canon just released a bunch of drivers for their SLRs to be used as webcams. So you just have to USB into your laptop.
Direct connect. Yeah.
Mine
same
is
thing on the Sonys. The Sonys are the same thing now.
Yeah, mine is one version too old to do that.
Yeah, send us some information on how to set up a cell phone like that. You know, what do you use for a tripod for them, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, let me show you the tripod that I have.
For your phone.
I don't know if you can see it. It's this little thing right here, this little gadget. It's a,
Wow.
you see the legs?
Right.
Folds up like this, and it extends out. And again, this is about $20 right here.
Cool.
But the whole stuff. But I got something else that came with it, and that was a little macro lens that I can put right on my phone like that to zoom in on the fly. It's
Wow.
amazing. So like what you saw tonight with Sydney, it would basically crop that in half.
Right.
And you'd have twice the magnification on there.
Wow.
So,
And I
and
think
all that's on Amazon. I mean, all that stuff is on Amazon. So it's, you know, it's easy to get.
as a teacher, I always ask for feedback from the kids. And in my club, we were doing some Zoom things last year, and I tried using my GoPro, and that was a complete failure because GoPro is not meant for macro stuff. And so that didn't work.
Too wide field vision.
Taping my iPhone to my chest to try to, because they want to see it from my side and not from the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I learned this with drummers in a drum set. You can have the best drummer in the world, and if you're looking at him from the other angle, they don't know what you're doing. But if you come behind him and look behind him and see what his hands and his feet are doing, it's great. And I think the same thing with the Thai and fries. I mean, I've looked at YouTubes and stuff online, but when guys are coming this direction, that's nice. But when you can get a guy that shows it from the tier's perspective instead of the visitor's perspective, I think they learn a lot more about how to tie that fly. And I don't know, I could be wrong.
Well, then what you really need is like a glasses webcam.
Yeah.
Like so you get a point of view type of thing.
Yeah.
That video that you sent, Sydney, you know, that linked with that guy had a camera right in front of him.
Right.
It was his view. It was in his way a lot. It was a,
right.
SLR looked like, but that gave a good viewpoint.
Well, it does. There's one I saw at the Gray Wolf Fly Shop that Howard Malpass was using to do some video, and he had it clamped to the table right in front of his vise. His vise was on a pedestal. He had it clamped to the table, and so it stuck up straight like that, and it wasn't in his way.
Right.
And so he was able to tie like this around in front of it.
Right.
And I actually have a clamp from my phone that you can clamp to the table and kind of, it has like a big bendy arm on it. And I couldn't find it tonight. I was going to try to use that. I couldn't locate it tonight, but like I said, essentially it's a clamp and it's a big bendy arm that you can kind of, and then with a clamp for the phone that you can kind of put it however you want it. I'm sure there's a bunch of webcams out there that would be applicable to this as well.
Sure. Well, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
I'll see, maybe I can come up with something for March if y'all want something for like for bass or brim down here. Maybe
no. We're gonna get Randy to tie that jiggy bead.
Okay, that'll work perfect.
You can have April, but we're putting Randy in March.
Easy, baby.
Yeah, Randy's problem is he's got to find. Randy doesn't have the equipment right now that can do the telecast stuff.
I thought Jack had offered that.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be happy to help you out, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Jack
said
had
he'd lend
offered,
me his
Randy.
laptop. Jack said he'd lend me his laptop.
Okay.
Does that fly work on a yo-yo?
Well, but really, Randy, like I said, your phone, you got an iPhone, right? Your iPhone will work fine.
I do.
You know?
I do.
And I'll lend you that clamp.
The clamp.
Yeah, there's
that bendy clamp that would
Have a
hold your
clamp.
phone.
In other words, I have a clamp that attaches to the table, and then you can put your phone in it, and you can move the phone and put it wherever you want it.
Oh, really? Where'd you get that?
Amazon.
Interesting.
Very good. Very good discussion, gentlemen. Do we have other questions?
None here.
Anybody on YouTube having questions? Catch?
No. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit the YouTube video a bit and leave it out there. Should
Yeah,
be out there for a few days. And
you can take me off of it.
Yeah, I guess what I should do is just wear a shirt with a big curse word on it. Then you can't put me on YouTube.
I don't know.
Make sure it's on backwards, right? No.
Okay.
All right,
Very
gentlemen.
interesting.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Sid.
you.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sydney.
Thanks, Sydney.
Okay.
Very,
Joe,
very
you're
good.
sending out an email with the meeting for next week, right?
I will do it. Yes.
All right.
And hopefully we'll have all of the officers join in. Mike,
Yeah,
you
we
got
haven't had
that?
one of those in a long time.
Yeah, we need one just to do some planning.
Right, absolutely.
And Pete's working, Gary has offered to work with Pete. That helps Pete relax a little bit on, with regard to Red Stick Day. So we've got something going there anyway.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Very good. Very good. Thanks.
All right,
And,
fellas.
Thanks all.
All right.
And Catch, we're going to have to talk about that website at some point.
who said that?
Sydney,
Yeah, what about it?
we're going to have to talk when you're going to have to show me how to do the website so I can keep it up to date.
Oh, okay. I'll be in Baton Rouge probably in a week or so.
All right.
Yeah.
Did
Just
you,
give me a
did you
call.
get, Catch,
Okay.
did you get my list of officers?
Yes, and the website's updated.
Excellent.
Officer list.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Glad, again, Catch, thanks for setting us up. Glad that everyone could join in.
All right. See ya.
All right,
All
guys.
right,
Bye.
take care. Blessings on everybody. Stay safe out there.
Same to you. Bye.
Yep.